Okay, to draw the hair, first thing you're going to want is a reference. So find a picture of somebody's hair that you can look at. Once you have that, I usually start by drawing just an egg shape for a placeholder head. I'm not doing a whole defined portrait, so I'm not worried about following the Loomis method to get everything exact, right? So I just got roughly a head shape, oval, something like that. And often you want to include the ears because the the hair shapes will have, really dependent on the ears, the hair will come down to the ears. Sometimes it gets covered up, but sometimes you can see them. So that's a good little placeholder to have on your picture. And remember, if you've done the Loomis method on how to draw the entire head, you should see a hairline somewhere around the top here. Now, that's just an indication of where your hairline will actually be. It can move up or down depending on the individual. And this line just indicates the top of the skull. The hair often goes right above this unless it's pulled really tight down to the skull. So once you've got those types of things in place, you're ready to start mapping out the overall shape of the hair. So with just like anything else that we would draw, you want to start with the overall shape and then work into the details. So let's say I was to go with, I'll go with this girl's hair here. Okay. So in the image that I'm about to draw, I can actually see that the hair, the ears are going to be covered, so I'm just going to draw over them and remove them. But she's got long hair with a bit of a part. So the hair is actually, the hairline, it's being pulled below the hairline because it's being brought across the face and then kind of tucks around the chin. It might be helpful to also add in a neck. Sometimes, especially if the hair is involving the neck and the shoulders, give yourself a little clue of that. So the hair comes down. It's going to rest right on this shoulder here and actually splits over the shoulder and comes around, gets pulled back here. Okay. And I'm going to end up losing that entire area. It gets covered. And I'm not going to see that part of the skull anymore, right? So that's covered up by the hair. On the other side, it's a little thinner. There's less hair on this side because most of it's been pulled across the head. So it's a little bit thinner, and it's pulled back and pulled away from her head just a little bit where I can see a sliver of the bottom of her ear. And then the hair comes in front and pulls across down here. All right, so I'm not going to see that portion of the ear. I'm only going to see that pulling across there. Okay. Now that I've got the generalization of where the hair is, I'm going to look for any other locks or groups of hair that are being formed. So over here, there's a couple of locks of hair peeking out from below this strand. There's another strand within this that's a little bit separated, so I can separate that. There's a curve to the part. It's not a straight line. And let's see what else. And then this line, when it comes across, there's another shape pulling out underneath this hair here. And there's a couple of groups of hair pulling down. There's this curve here with some hair that separates out into a couple of clusters or locks of hair over here. Okay. So now I've got the overall shape of the hair and some of the larger groupings of hair, the locks, without getting into all the little details. Now I'm going to move into adding some detail, but not drawing every single detail. What I want to do is show a little bit of the texture of the hair. So this hair is not grouped together too closely. It's kind of, the hair separate a little bit at the end, so it gives a little bit of texture at the end. And then I can add some lines inside to indicate the movement of the hair and the direction that it's coming from. All right. I'm not going to be concerned with drawing each individual hair, but I just want to give an indication. Right? If the hair is long and flowing, you might want to use a couple of longer lines. If the hair is short, then you can use some short lines. It should kind of be balanced with what you're working with. That's a little bit over here. And so you see it's just a handful of lines moving in the direction of the hair. A little texture over here. Okay. So that's a little bit of information doing a lot of work, communicating the volume of the hair. So the last thing we're going to look for is any value, meaning any areas of light or dark. There's a lot of shadow that's being created by the canopy of hair around her head here. Some shadow, a lighter shadow here, so it's darker in here, a little bit lighter here, and then dark right underneath here as it comes along this edge. There's a shine on the top, so to show the shine, I'm going to put a darker value next to it so that there's a comparison. There's a bit of value on the back here. Notice what I'm doing is I'm shading in the direction of the hair. So I'm using my marks to move in the same direction so that it adds to the texture and adds to the overall volume. One thing I am not doing, however, is I'm not trying to color in the hair. I'm not trying to show whether or not it's black or brown or dark or anything like that. I'm really just looking for any of the values I see. Light seems to be coming from this way, so there's a good amount of light getting cast on this side. So that's why this portion of hair is a little bit darker. Okay. So from that you can see how I'm able to put together the overall shape. I mean, there would be eyebrows and, you know, nose and eyes and all that stuff that's in here as well, but I'm not going to be concerned with all that just yet. Okay. That is how you draw hair. Good luck.